Hey everyone, this is Susie, and this is my very first video. This is a manifestation channel I'm starting, and I just want to let you know that this channel is going to be kind of like, think about like a group project from college. We're all in this together. This is like a journey because I'm not where I want to be yet, and I haven't accomplished all my manifestations I want to accomplish it. So, to cut it short, I'm not where I want to be in life, and that's okay. And today, I want to talk to you about labels and the meaning you give to labels in your life and the things you consume, and you want to be very careful about that. I was very inspired to make this video. It's very random. It was very spur of the moment because honestly, I've never made a video like this, and it was honestly, I'm one of the last people you'd ever expect to make this, but I've been in the manifesting community over 2 years, meaning I've been following the big name creators. I've purchased coaching by many of them. They're great people. They know me, some of them, like Dylan James, and um, uh, to throw some of them out there. Um, and yeah, they've helped me, and I just feel like I just have great tidbits to throw out there myself. And so yeah, let's get started on this. um so the other day I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was telling me that he was getting warts on his fingers, and you know, the kind of warts that you go to the doctor that you have to get frozen off. So you normally get those on your feet, right? And he was telling me that he got those on his fingers. And I just, and then the next day, which is like, I noticed today in the morning, I had one. And I'm like, this is so bizarre because I've never gotten one on my fingers. You really have to be careful what you're listening to unconsciously, because I've never in my life gotten one on my fingers. And now it's just a really annoying, pesky thing I have to deal with. But there's goes to show you that your mind picks up on things that um, you aren't fully consciously aware of, but unconsciously aware of, and then it shows up in your reality. And that's another thing that you have to be aware of. So that's a great example. I know it's kind of a weird one. Um, and yeah, so that's a story. And another thing I wanted to talk about, so labels. Labels are like, could be anything from stereotypes or like the things we give meaning to. And so think about anything, any label, like what does success mean to you, or the word disabled, ugly, beautiful, anything like that. You don't want to take on the identity that the world and society give to diagnoses or diseases. Like, for example, let's say the doctor or whomever says, you're a person who has cancer. Do you want to embody that and act like the person who has cancer, and then all of a sudden you start thinking and acting differently? Your energy shifts, the way you interact with others. You start to look at the world differently, and you're no longer Joe or whomever. You're Joe who has cancer. You're eating or brushing your teeth. I'm eating and brushing my teeth as Joe who has cancer. Joe who has cancer getting groceries. Joe who has cancer doing this or whatever. And it's changing who you are and embodying it, taking on the identity of what the world gives, I mean, what society or the world gives meaning to, of said disease or diagnoses. So you really want to be careful and not take on the meaning and the identity of the diagnoses and diseases that you attach meaning to when you hear it from a doctor or a clinician. Sorry about that, my phone cut off. So back to where I was talking about. So to me, my idea of success was living out on your own, um, having a successful job that you liked, and pretty much just making it out on your own, having a social life and all those things. And and when I was out there doing my own thing, um, I was not necessarily happy. I was working dead end job after dead end job, making the bare minimum, and renting an apartment on my own with no roommate, and it was just a never ending hamster wheel, for lack of a better word. And I was not happy. I thought that once I got to that point in my life, I would be doing the things I've always dreamt of doing, like um, what I'm doing right now with the videos, and my photography thing, and my poetry thing, and my writing thing. But none of that ever happened. If anything, my mental health went to shit, and I could not find happiness in any of those things. And I found that where I least expected it. It was um, back when I decided to put. Oh, sorry. I found that happiness where I least expected it, and it was in my choices, and that choice was me choosing me first. And so in that situation where I was living on myself and those with myself and that very stressful situation, I had to choose myself, and I made a really hard choice to move back in with my parents. And that was me putting me first by choosing my mental health and my sanity. And um, here I am back with my family, and I honestly feel so much lighter and a lot happier. And that's where I found happiness again, by choosing myself and putting myself first. And then you kind of get inspired to do all the things you were putting off first. And I honestly thought I had to have a certain conditions set up in order for me to do the things I kept putting off. I thought once I had that nice apartment, then I would have space to take pictures, and I had the layout and everything, but I never did any of that. You're never gonna have the conditions right so you can do what you want. You're either just gonna do it or you're not. There's never gonna be a right moment, is what I'm trying to say. And um so a lot of the manifestation coaches and great thinkers like Neville Goddard, and there's others, I just can't think of them right now. Um, they they say that you create happiness within yourself, and it comes from within. It comes from with you first, and that's pretty much where it starts. It doesn't start from the outside, and a lot of the times we chase things in the external world thinking that will make us happy, and it doesn't work like that. It starts with you first. And that was me attaching meaning to the labels I gave to the external world, thinking that once I acquired XYZ, that's when I will be happy, when I couldn't be further from the truth. And yeah, that's one great example. And another example is um, here's another example. It's a little bit different. So um, so growing up, I experienced a lot of mental health challenges, and my mother, who's a really smart woman, she cautioned me whenever I would get evaluated by clinicians about the diagnoses, to not identify them, to not identify so closely with them, because she knew that if I identified very closely with them, then I would take on that identity and the stigma that comes with those diagnoses. And that's very true. You start to embody um, what society and the world gives those identities that are associated with said diagnoses or labels. And